91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. That was almost in its entirety, but I did want to start talking with today's guest, Matt Garrity. We just heard Clay Giberson's Spacedon's Approach, and we heard track It Might As Well... No, was that it? Spacedon's Approach.
No, that was It Might As Well Be Spring.
It Might As Well Be Spring.
Yep.
The lovely thing with jazz tracks, they're anywhere from, I don't know, 3 minutes to 30 minutes.
Yeah, you almost made it all the way through that one, too.
Yes, we almost did. So today's guest, Matt Garrity, currently living in Woodstock and holds a monthly jazz series, which I've been lucky enough to attend a couple of times, Barnstock. His website is barnstockny.com. So, Matt, welcome to LocalMotion. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you for being
to be here
in person. And so you're a drummer. So let's step back in time because we do have this funny Ithaca connection.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Ithaca.
Yep. Born and raised.
You're now a drummer. Were you always a drummer?
I started when I was about 12, I guess. I was in, I guess, 7th grade. And, the story of that is a weird one, actually, because I had taken piano lessons like a lot of people do, from probably 5 or 6, for maybe 5 years or so. Kind of, never practiced, and I was into it for a while, but it didn't
Playing
really,
what, classical?
it didn't really stick. Yeah,
right,
that kind of thing. Which is good because it gave me some technique on the piano. But eventually, I stopped doing that, maybe for a couple years, and I had one of these general music classes in middle school, where everyone's sitting around singing songs, and nobody likes the class, basically. I wasn't that into it. But my teacher at the end of one of these classes comes up to me and says, "I notice you tapping on the desk like during class. Are you a drummer?" And I was like, "No, I didn't even realize I was doing it." And she said, "Well, the band director here is a drum teacher. Would you like me to set up a drum lesson?"
Wow.
And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know, sure." So I go and take a drum lesson. Basically, from that point forward, that's all I wanted to do.
Serendipitous. What if that teacher never came up to you?
Oh, that person, she changed my life. I mean, and it's crazy because I have a 12-year-old daughter now, so I think about things like that. I mean, it never hurts to say something or to notice something and just put it out there.
Right.
Because, I mean, she could easily have not said anything.
So if you weren't a drummer, what do you think you might be?
Oh, who knows? It's been too long for me to even be able to answer that question. Yeah.
So then you started drumming right away. Did you do like bands in high school and things like that?
Yeah, I started. I guess I started in the concert band in middle school, and then the band director's name was Bill Calhoun. He put me in the jazz band, and so I started kind of getting a taste of that.
Did you play at the dock and all those little?
Well, I didn't really end up getting into jazz until I was in high school when I joined the jazz band there, and there were a few people in the band where they were actual jazz heads.
Mm-hmm.
They were into jazz. They were listening to jazz, and they needed a drummer, so they kind of proceeded to recruit me, and start.
Were you listening to some jazz at that point?
I was not.
No.
I was not really at all.
What were you listening to?
I mean, back then I was probably listening to like Van Halen and stuff like that, like Chili Peppers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
playing drums to that as well?
I guess for I guess I was for a little bit, kind of leading up to when these people started turning me on to jazz. I mean, I had one of my friends, Steve Watkins, he's a guitar player, and I've kind of lost touch with him, and I wish I could actually find him. I was thinking about this recently, but I'll never forget, he made me this mixtape, like an actual mixtape. Mm-hmm. And it was, just like some of the best stuff. I mean, stuff that I still listen to this day. It was like Miles Davis, 4 and More, Wes Montgomery, Full House, Keith Jarrett Trio.
Wow, good stuff.
Michael Brecker, just like all this stuff, and so I really just discovered basically all that stuff from listening to that, and that just opened up,
right,
the possibilities from there, and then I was hooked basically.
Wow.
And I started checking it out on my own from there. You know,
That's awesome.
so that's how that whole thing began.
And then you went to William Patterson's College.
Yep, William Patterson College in Wayne, New Jersey.
Moved from Ithaca to New Jersey.
Yes. Quite
Usually
a leap.
it's the other way around.
Yeah, really. That's true. That's funny. Yeah, so, and then I got to study with some great people. I studied with John Riley, the drummer, and Horace Arnold. And, Rufus Reed, the bass player, was running the program at the time, and I was in a group with him. And Harold Mayburn was there, and Norman Simmons, and just, all these greats. So I was hanging out with and learning from, the real guys, in this music, which was great. And it was, the proximity to New York
I was just going to say that.
A big plus.
Go there on the weekends and go to some of the clubs, did you?
Yeah, well, all the time. I was going to go to Manhattan School of Music. That was my first choice, actually. And and I got in, and I was planning on going there. And William Patterson had put me on the waiting list. And I found out basically, I think a few weeks before it started, that I had gotten accepted to William Patterson. And at the time, I was bent on moving to New York, from the time I was probably 16. But after going and seeing the schools and checking them out, I really had kind of felt like a more college atmosphere would be a little bit more appropriate when I was 18, going.
Well, it was smart of you.
I just kind of wanted a campus, and like Manhattan School was like you're just kind of out there,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. So anyway, and also I had just heard amazing musicians just practicing in the practice rooms at William Patterson, and it was all the same faculty, pretty much, all the adjunct
and
faculty.
so close to get to the Manhattan.
Right. So anyway, long story short, I'm glad I ended up going there. I was only there for 2 years, and I ended up moving to the city anyway, which I knew I would eventually. But yeah, the time I was there was great, and I met some great friends who I still hang out with and play with to this day, and yeah, it was great.
Do you remember your first recording session?
Let me see. Gosh, I don't know. It actually might be that Clay Giberson one that I just played.
Yeah.
It was probably the first kind of real one was probably that. Yeah. So
wow,
that's
very
appropriate
cool.
that we played that first.
That is, yeah, because you've got to start somewhere.
Yep.
You were all the great venues down there: Birdland, Blue Note, Smoke, Smalls. When you were that young, I find like a lot of people that I talk to are performers. They actually just go sometimes, not even if you're performing, just to sit and watch and observe. Did you do that also?
Oh yeah, I did that all the time. From the time I was at William Patterson, I would go in all the time, and back then there were even more places like Bradley's were still there, and so I went. I heard the Cedar Walton Trio there with Billy Higgins, and got to meet Billy Higgins there, and yeah, Village Vanguard and Sweet Basil. I was going to all those places all the time, just taking it all in, hearing all, and back then a lot of the masters were still
alive,
with us, so I really got to hear. I'm thankful that I feel like I'm kind of one of the last generations that we're still able to go out and hear these guys in person.
Absolutely. I think
really
you're right.
Just, and there's just nothing like hearing it in person.
There's nothing. There's nothing. It's live music is like, I don't know. It's incredible.
You just internalize it like no other way,
So you go to college, you leave after 2 years, you're in Manhattan. What do you start getting for work?
Just.
Did you ever have like a day job, or were you just?
I had a couple little day jobs for a while. I worked at a coffee place in Park Slope, and a couple other things, but not too much. I would have on and off maybe, or like after a couple years, I would like need a little something extra, and so I would do something for a couple months, and usually end up like getting some gig and having to like not show up, and and then that was done.
Right, right. That was
something
done.
like that. That definitely happened a couple times. but for the most part, I was able to do, keep enough stuff going. It was constantly a struggle. Just living in the city and trying to
You must have had roommates.
everything. Had roommates, all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just did a lot of different gigs with a lot of different people at a lot of different places. Remember when I first moved to New York, I had played at this place called Arthur's Tavern in the West Village, which is still there, which is like one of the oldest places in town. And that was like I played there. I ended up playing there almost like every night of the week. I was like playing with all the different people who came in.
You were like the house drummer.
I was kind of the house drummer for a while, and that lasted for a while, for probably a few years, and then I probably got a little burnout on doing that as much as I was doing it. But I got to play with some great people.
And you
there.
got to learn a lot of different music.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to meet and play with great singer Terry Thornton there, and she was playing there for a while. I was like playing with her like 2 nights a week for maybe a year and a half or something.
Wow.
Trio, and she was just amazing, you know. And I definitely learned a lot playing with her. And from then, you know, it was just kind of whatever comes up, just kind of riding the wave, the New York wave. You know?
And you sure definitely did that. You also have quite a wonderful musical relationship with Joel Forrester. Talk about meeting him.
Yes. I mean, we met that was probably late 90s, maybe. And the way that I actually met him was through, he was friends with an old family friend of mine who had told me about him. He was like, oh, my friend Joel Forrester has been in New York forever. He knew I was in the city. He's like, you should, you know, look him up. So I found him and called him one day, and actually called him for some gig that I had somewhere, and he couldn't do it. And I remember he was you know, he thought it was funny that a drummer was calling him for a gig at the time, you know. But anyway, so he couldn't do the gig, but then a month later he ended up calling me to do something with his band, and I guess he was kind of like in between drummers, and I ended up playing with him for, you know, close to 20 years, 15 years, I don't know how long exactly, but so yeah, I mean that turned into a long standing relationship, and I mean you know, we got him ordained and he married me and my wife.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's a really warm friendship.
Yeah. It's been a long time for sure. And he's been living in France for the past few years now, in Lyon. And,
nice place for you to go visit.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but that's definitely going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
But he's back this summer, and we've got some gigs in New York, and you know, he's been back every year, and so we continue to do our thing, you know, when he comes back.
Right.
But
right. And it seems like you're also heavily involved in education.
Yeah, I have been for a while. I've definitely I mean, I guess I started probably doing private lessons, and then a slew of various music schools when I was in the city, and it's great. I mean, it's since I've been up here, I've also been teaching at Rock Academy, which is in Woodstock, which is right near my
fun.
house. Yeah, which is a great situation, you know, for these kids.
How did you find Woodstock?
Well, me and my wife had just come up and hung out here a couple times, and just loved the feel of it and the vibe of it. And, you know, I mean, when we moved up here, I had been in the city for, I think, close to 23 years. And, you know, we just came up and liked how it felt, you know, and we're looking for just to change it up a little bit, you know. I mean, I'd been doing the city thing for so long.
And you had your daughter in the city too, right? You were raising your child.
Yep. Yeah. I guess she was, when we moved up here, she was in second grade. And well, actually, one thing I forgot to mention is the CD that we're going to play in a little bit from Grape Jam, this band that I have with Gary Versace and Pete Smith that we've been playing together for a long time.
I'm so glad you said that name. I would have said Versace.
Well, that's what I'm here for. So we recorded that at Applehead in Woodstock, actually, long before, well, a while before I even had any idea we were going to be up here. And Applehead Studios happens to be like right across the street from Barnstock, from where we live.
Like you could walk.
So it's one of those strange situations in life, like we were talking about, where things just kind of
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
What? Yeah. Yeah. So
I realized that a
amazing.
while after being up
So
here that
amazing.
it was right over there.
You know
that
what?
happened.
You know
So-
what I just had? Because normally I'm on the phone with somebody and I just talk the whole time and then I play music. But we're here together in person.
Yeah.
Why don't we listen to something?
Let's do it.
All right. So I think we had Joel Forrester. We were just
Speaking of
talking
Joel,
about him.
yes.
Let's play a track and we'll come back and chat some more.
Sounds good.
All right. 91.3 WVKR with guest Matt Garrity. 91.3. 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Joel Forrester's Mary's Blues on the release called About Time. And that was recorded in one day. 5 tracks in one day.
Indeed.
Wow. May 23rd, 2014, with today's guest, Matt Garrity, on drums. That's
Seems
a lot of
Seems
tracks.
like a long time ago.
Well, almost 10
Yeah,
years.
I mean, we just kind of rolled in and laid them down, and that was it.
I hope they fed you well and took care of you well.
I don't remember food being involved, but maybe.
That's a very, very long day. Wow. So we just also mentioned up now that you're doing education. You're still doing private lessons, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
People find you at barnstockny.com. That's your music series. You're also on social media, Matt Garrity.
Yep.
You're teaching at, which is so cool, at the Rock Academy, which is in Woodstock, right outside of Woodstock, and teaching kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. And then so you come up here. Had you ever put on concerts before moving up to Woodstock?
Never. I had never even considered it. We came up and found this old barn that was just an old barn when we found it. Our initial thing was, thinking about building one of those shipping container homes.
Oh yeah,
have you seen
sure.
those?
Yeah.
This was just kind of a dream. It's like, well, that would be fun to do. Let's like go out and check out some land and see what's available.
What's out there.
So this is one of the first places we checked out was our place. And it was, advertised as 3 acres of land with an old barn on it. And so I show up and see this barn, and I'm just like, wow, that's like, who needs a shipping container? We have this mega barn. So, we ended up getting my brother-in-law, Shannon, who's this like contractor, house flipping whiz, did the whole job.
Oh my God, that's
and,
a huge help.
I minimally helped him.
Right.
Learned a couple skills along the way. But, so did the entire job and ended up, staying. And it's, the upstairs where the concerts take place, it just has such a great vibe and such a great feel. And
you live downstairs.
And we live downstairs. And, even when we moved in, I mean, I didn't know we were going to be doing concerts. It was like, all right, we could do some recording or, maybe, I don't know. I suppose I had the idea of it, but then once we had our first one, I think was with Peter Einhorn.
But what made you, like, what said, you know what, let's just try a concert here?
I'm not really sure exactly. I mean, it might have been actually Peter who suggested it.
Really? Uh-huh.
And we, because we'd been playing together a little bit, and I think that might be it. But I mean, it was always in the back of my mind just because the space just screams performance.
Sure.
Space,
Sure. That's awesome.
So we did that, and then I mean, I guess we did it for a while. We probably did a handful of concerts like before COVID. I mean, we moved in 2017, I guess, full time. Yeah, so we definitely had some concerts upstairs. And then once the pandemic hit, we started doing it outside because there was nothing else happening at all. And,
right.
And outdoors was friendly,
Yes.
So I made some little kind of mini stages out there, and we started having people that saw, I guess, 2020?
20. Must have been
in the
2020, yeah.
Yeah, and really, I mean, it started to really take off then because
there was nothing to do.
There was
People
nothing
were
to
crazy.
do except come over to my backyard and hear us play.
And that's the first time I came to Barnstock.
Right.
I saw it on Facebook or something like that. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And I got there. It's just such a warm setting. And the backyard is like, you look up and the trees are like circling above you. And you had a fire pit, I think, if I remember. Ed Cherry was there. It's just like, what?
Oh, it's great. I know. I mean, and that too, doing the outdoor concerts. Like after we did the first one, I was just like, why did we not do this before? You know? It was.
Are you going to continue outdoors?
Definitely. I mean, I have a more proper stage there now, and we've done, a bunch of good concerts out there. And it's really always weather dependent, and
Dependent.
bug dependent,
Sure.
and whatever's
Sure.
happening at the day of the concert.
Right,
So,
right. And you have so much more, so many more people are access to outside than inside,
Yeah.
right? So your space is,
Yeah, no, I mean, for
limited.
sure. Yeah, I mean, the indoors, I think the most people we've had inside is probably like 45 people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that is tight. That is packed.
That's packed,
which
right.
I love. I love like a full packed
Right.
house.
Right.
It feels good.
Right. Right.
Um,
And the
but-
sound is so warm
right.
in there.
And it helps the sound having
Sure.
all those bodies in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the outside. I mean, we can have 100 people out there. And
Yeah.
it's,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
The band's gonna be happier when I'm paying them at the end of the.
Yes, they definitely will.
You know?
And the nice thing, and we're talking to Matt Garrity about Barnstock, which is a jazz series that he runs pretty much monthly.
Yep.
And inside
to.
is the barn, and summer seasonal weather permitting, you can put however many people you want outside, which is wonderful. And parking is like along the road, but people bring their own blankets or chairs and whatever. And you don't do tickets, you do by suggested donation.
Yep.
And you also do Venmo
Yep.
if someone's there and they don't have cash.
Yeah, and it's all just day of the concert. Just show up. There's no reservations, no tickets. You just show up and
Right.
deal with it when you get there.
Yeah. And bring your own drink or whatever you
Yep.
want.
Yep.
And
Drink, food, whatever.
Yeah. Barnstockny.com. You have 4th of July weekend. You have something special happening.
Yes. Joel Harrison, guitar player, is going to be there with a quartet July 2nd.
And that's an afternoon show.
Yes, that is a rare Sunday afternoon show, which I love.
I
love the
love it
afternoon
too.
shows.
I love it too. When I was at your last one with my girlfriend, it was her birthday or something, and
Yep.
we're like, man, this afternoon thing is where it's at, especially on a Sunday.
I know. Everybody says that when they. Well, I started doing them, I think, on Sunday afternoons. In the beginning, it was always Sunday afternoon, and it was great. It's daytime. It's and you never know, especially in the summer. It's
Right.
like
Right.
when
Right.
the bugs are coming out, and
Yep.
like kind of right when we're starting.
Right, right. Yeah,
are
people
getting
bring
attacked on the
bug
stage.
spray and all of that and stuff.
But yeah, middle of the day, you're pretty much safe.
Yeah.
And inside or outside, it's always fun.
Yeah.
But I'm sure July 2nd, the weather hopefully will be.
Yeah, hopefully it will be good.
doing
And
something
the
that-
nice thing is, worst case scenario, you have to go inside. You
Yeah.
hope you don't have to, but,
Yeah, but
know,
it's not a terrible thing to go inside.
not
either.
a terrible
No,
thing. And
either
that
way.
July 2nd is with Joel Harrison Quartet.
Yes.
And that's at Barnstock, barnstockny.com. You don't need no tickets. You just show up,
That's it.
bring a chair, bring a blanket, bring a snack or a drink, whatever you want. And be kind, of course. Take all your belongings with you. Everything you come in with, you go out with.
That's
so
right.
that's what you do.
We sometimes get a small collection of things left behind.
Yeah, but that's I
They're-
find that so
yeah.
it's your home. This is your home, you
It
know,
is.
and you just don't do those things. You also have a lineup on a Saturday, August 12th at 7 p.m. Tell us.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be a great one with the great Steve Slagle, alto saxophonist. And that one is part of the Hudson Valley Jazz Festival this year, which
yeah.
we're excited about. And so, yeah, that's going to be, and that's a Saturday night. And Steve Slagle on alto, myself on drums. Steve Einerson, the great piano player who I know from the city and have played in multiple bands and configurations with. He'll be playing piano. And the great Jay Anderson will be playing bass. So that's going to be a
Wow.
really, really nice band, and I'm super looking forward to that one.
Wow.
So that's I'm happy that could work out. We actually had one scheduled with Steve. I think it was in December. Yeah, it was around Christmas, and it was one of those nights where like the temperature dropped like 50 degrees, and it was like snowed a bunch, and we unfortunately had to cancel it. So this is our makeup date.
Saturday,
and-
August 12th, and that's at 7
it's
p.m.
going to be a good one. So I'm really excited about that.
Absolutely. Now, tell me, I know this, let's backtrack a second. Sunday, July 2nd with Joel Harrison Quartet. Tell me who's part of that quartet besides you on drums, Matt.
Yes. So that's obviously Joel on guitar, and Gary Versace, organ player, is going to be on that one. And me and Gary also have a long history and have played in some bands together and have hung out
And you get an organ
million
outside, or
times.
you get like a keyboard? What are you doing?
He'll have his probably like like a a kind of portable organ. Either like they have these Hammond kind of smaller Hammond ones, or the Nord keyboards. Those red ones you may have
Yes,
seen.
and they make the sound like you'd never know.
Yeah, and he'll bring a Leslie and all that stuff. So it's it'll have the real vibe for sure.
Cool.
And Jay Collins on tenor
Awesome.
saxophone.
Awesome.
Can't forget about Jay.
Can't forget about Jay. Yeah, no.
Woodstock favorite.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So another great band. I mean, it's this series has been so great. It's just I've been getting to play with these amazing musicians, and I'm just happy that I've been getting them to come up here.
Yeah.
And, participate.
You
in this,
had when I was there in April. Tell me who. He played with Michael Jackson, the guitarist.
Yep. Yeah, Mike Jackson and Lou Pappas.
Yes,
on bass.
yes.
Yeah, trio. Yeah. That was great. That was great. I met Mike last summer, and we did a gig with him and Pete Levin, and it was just so great. And I hadn't heard of Mike before,
right?
And his whole story, and so it was just fun and swinging, and he's just such a great guy, and so I figured, what better person to have come,
Absolutely.
do one of these gigs. And
I saw Ed Sherry at your place. Man, that was like
another
what?
great one. Yeah.
What? Scott Sherrard even came to see him.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
that's right.
it's special. I
yeah.
was
Well,
like,
Scott Sherrard ended up doing a barn stock after that because
he
had
liked
such a
the
good time
vibe.
at the Ed Sherry gig.
Hey man, hook him up
and
again.
it was outside, and it was
right. Yeah. Well, Scott's the best.
space is just undeniable. I mean, not
And he's up there a lot because his mother-in-law lives right there, so he's up there a lot. So
yeah, no, we've definitely discussed doing more, so I'm sure that'll happen at some point.
I hope so. I keeps reminding me I have to get in touch with him. I got to get him back on the show. I have him on at least once a year, and he's so much fun. And what a guitarist! Damn.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us anything that's past August? Do you have any anything
Actually,
for September?
I don't have anything technically booked.
Okay.
I have things in mind.
Got you.
But I'm not going to put it out into
No.
the universe yet because it hasn't.
Because
been
then it won't
confirmed.
happen.
Right, exactly.
And then it
Yeah.
won't happen. So that we don't need
But
to.
but it's definitely going to keep going as it always does.
Yes. You've been doing this for quite some time now.
Yeah, I mean, basically since 2017 or 18.
Right.
And it's been pretty regular. A couple times, a couple lulls in there in the beginning, maybe in the first few years. But,
Right. Well, COVID kind of.
I mean,
took that over too.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's true.
Right.
But also, thank you, COVID, for giving me the idea to do these outdoor concerts and
Yeah.
having people, all these
Yeah.
people show
There
up.
were very few places that you could go that summer. Barnstock, one of them, Colony and
Colony,
Woodstock,
yeah.
and the Falcon. And I think that's all I know of in the Hudson Valley as far as outdoor.
I mean, that's the only places I was playing.
Right. Right.
Barnstock and Colony.
Yeah, yeah,
For that whole summer. I mean, that saved
Yeah.
musicians and fans, just
As
music
well.
fans to be able to go out and just.
It gave you a sense of
just hear some-
normalcy.
Yeah.
It just kind of was like, oh my God, there's other people, there's music, there's, it was so important.
Yeah, we needed that badly.
We really, 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 truly did. Barnstock. I love the name. BarnstockNY.com.
the name is funny because I was like, after we, did a couple shows or maybe it must have been before that. I was just like, well, we should come up with a name for this.
Yes.
I don't really know what to call it, And then so that was kind of the initial well, I don't know. We'll just call it Barnstock,
Just so simple, but it's
and then
it's
stuck.
great. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I realized that my good friend John Menegon has a series called Jazz Stock.
Yes.
And I realized that after the fact, and I was like, John, man, sorry. I didn't mean to step
But
on
that's
your...
fine. They don't care.
No, man, it's cool. Yeah.
Right.
No,
I mean, there's a lot,
no, I mean,
Woodstock. Oh my gosh.
Right.
There's
And me and him and Terry Roiger have been playing together and are all close. And so we're all in it together,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's a big, happy
absolutely.
family.
Jazz Stock, Barn Stock, support it all. How's that?
Absolutely.
Just support all the local live music that there is. You pretty much do just jazz. No, I shouldn't say just jazz. Jazz series is what
Yeah.
Barnstock is. Once in a while, like Scott Sherrard or something, you'll have a little something different.
Yeah.
But it's jazz, and there's a lot of jazz lovers out there, up in the Capital District, here in the Mid-Hudson Valley,
Yeah.
obviously in New York City. Great place. You're literally right outside of Woodstock. I'm not going to give your address on air, but people certainly can look up barnstockny.com and check out everything. Go see some live music. Sunday afternoon, July 2nd, 2 p.m., Joel Harrison Quartet. And the cool thing is you always get to play with your guests.
That's right. That's definitely a perk. I mean, that's how this started. It's like create your own gig kind of situation.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's just turned into a thing.
It's a great
a
thing.
thing,
It's
you
a
know?
great thing. Let's keep it going for sure. Let's play one more track before the hour is up, and then we'll come back and say goodbye. Tell us what we're going to be listening to now with Grape Jam.
Oh, so this was Grape Jam. This is recorded before I moved here, as I was saying, at Applehead. And this is myself, Gary Versace, on organ, and Pete Smith on guitar. And this record was not actually released, so this is more of just a kind of documentation of the band. But it's a great recording. I love it. And we're actually going into the studio in July and recording a proper record with this
How
band,
funny that
which
you
I'm
were
really
across
excited
the
about.
street. Did you ever think you were going to buy the place?
Never in a million years. I had no idea. That was my first time in Woodstock. I think
Really?
was then. Yes. So
Let's-
maybe that carved out my future without me knowing.
It's
know?
that karma thing.
Yeah.
Grape Jam. Let's take a listen to that right here, right now on 91.3 WVKR. I'm your host Rita Ryan with LocalMotion, and we are talking with Matt Garrity. 91.3. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Garrity on drums.
How dare you cut off my drum solo?
I know. I will be beaten. I'm going to hell for this. But we really want to get another track in, and these damn jazz tracks are 8 minutes each. So here we go.
Yes. Jazz musicians, I'm telling you.
Oh, man, oh, man. Grape Jam. And that was with Matt Garrity, today's guest here on LocalMotion. Matt Garrity does this great monthly jazz series called Barn Stock. It's right in Woodstock. The website is barnstockny.com. You also have a Facebook page, yes?
Yep.
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram. That basically covers it. Barnstock NY, I think, on all of those.
Yes, Barnstock NY, which is great. And the next concert that's coming up at your place is Sunday, July 2nd at 2 p.m. with Joel Harrison Quartet featuring you drums, Gary Versace on organ, and Jay Collins on saxophone.
That's it.
And Saturday, August 12th at 7 p.m., Steve Slagle.
Yes.
And that's part of the Hudson Valley Jazz Festival.
That's right.
Man, oh man. Lots of good stuff going on there.
Good couple months.
Yes, it is a good couple of months. Now, I think I was at this show, now that I see this. So our hour is drawing to an end, and I again want to just say thank you for taking the time to drive here and to be in person. Please keep bringing music to the world because we need it more than ever. It's the one thing that unites us.
Agreed. And I could say the same to you. I mean, I just want to thank you for having me in today and for supporting us and showing up at all these concerts that we've been doing for years and spreading the word.
It's my weekly therapy session is going to see live music.
It's just nice to have somebody who's really helping out and putting it out there and spreading the word, I mean, because like you said, the jazz fans are out there up here, and it just keeps growing. I'm finding out how many jazz fans are
I find that your place, it's kind of like this show. It's a little bit on the underground side, right?
Yes,
it's not,
I like it that way.
I like it that way too. I prefer to be in that category. Sure. But that's where you got to look for the real good quality stuff sometimes too. The stuff not everybody hears of. And I've been trying to do this more myself as well as giving it out there to listeners. Say, go check out some music you're not familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
If you've never heard this jazz artist before, give it a shot. I never heard that Michael Jackson guy. I never heard. I was like, oh, just go. How bad can it be? Because I know everything you put on is good, right? But that's what opens you up to music. And I've been really trying to do that more and more, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing I love about living up here, too, is people go out. People support music.
Yes.
And want to check out new things if they haven't heard it or things that they know. But
Absolutely.
The point is that they're showing up.
Yes. They're showing up with the intention, and nice listening audiences, too.
Yeah.
That's
my
another
favorite thing about doing these concerts, the Barnstock concerts. It's, it's basically like a house concert.
Yes.
And so the crowd is just always there to listen. Always, it's an intimate setting, and it feels good, and everybody's there for the same reason.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just a really fun place to be. Yep. Barnstockny.com. Matt, what are we listening to head on out of the show here for this 1 hour?
So this is from last summer, where we had Joe Lovano, who one of my all-time favorites, and I was honored to be able to share the stage with him and John Menegan in a trio, and this was, I guess, August last summer.
Beautiful.
On the outdoor stage.
Yep.
I put a couple mics up and ended up getting an amazing sound.
Yeah, and this is on YouTube, too, so people can look at this, Barnstock NY, on YouTube. And
this is one of the On This Day, just like any other. Great tune.
Well, listen, thank you again for your time. I'm going to do this legal ID right now because this track is another long one, and because that's the way we do it in jazz. So I'll let you know that you are tuned into 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York, broadcasting live from the beautiful campus at Vassar College. I am your host, Rita Ryan, here each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m., bringing you music of the Hudson Valley. And thank you again, Matt, for your time today. We're going to go out with this track, and then we'll be back to do another hour of music. of the Hudson Valley here. So stay tuned, keep it tuned, and let's take a listen right now to Joe Lovano with John Menegon and today's guest, Matt Garrity at Barnstock in Woodstock. Thanks again.
Thank you, Rita.
You're welcome. On air 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. I think Matt's proud of me for playing that almost 8-minute track in its entirety. Joe Lovano, John Menegon, and today's guest Matt Garrity at Barnstock in Woodstock, recorded last summer on this day, just like any other day. And please take a look at barnstockny.com, and as well as social media, Facebook page, and all of that good stuff. He's got some great shows coming up this summer, July 2nd at 2 p.m., with Joel Harrison Quartet, and August 12th with Steve Slagle at 7 p.m. as part of the Hudson Valley Jazz Festival. So now we're going to do the next hour here, and you can always hear Barnstock on my Musical Happenings segment as well. We start out every hour that we don't have a guest by paying tribute to Tony Falco, who we lost October 27th of 2021. He left a really cool playlist. Every week I grab a track off of there in order. This week's, I think you guys will like this. Some of you will know it, some of you won't, but that's what listening to music is all about. Let's take a listen to this from Tony Falco. Lowell George, 20 Million Things, 91.3 WVKR.
If it's fix a fence, fend a dance, I've got lots of experience. Rent gets spent, all the letters never written that don't get sent. It comes from confusion, all the things that left undone. Comes from moment to moment. Chair I was supposed to fix, well it came undid, and all the things that I let slip, I found out quick. They come from moment to moment, day to day. The time seems to slip. I've got 20 million things to do, 20 million things. All I can do is think about you with 20 million things to do.
.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Lowell George for Tony Falco from his playlist, 20 Million Things. The album is Thanks, I'll Eat It Here. Now, speaking of Tony and the Falcon, I'm going to play the next two tracks by musicians that are going to be at the Falcon. Let's start this one off with a new single by Lara Hope and the Arctones, who'll be at the Falcon tomorrow night. Take a listen. 91.3.
It's been so many months since I saw chocolates. I'll bring the rest. I bought the marshmallows that you like the best. Come, hear it crackle. Come watch it roar. Let's spend our time outdoors. It's you that I adore. So come, warm your hands, warm your heart, join the band and have a seat next to me by the fire. Come, stay a while, have a laugh, show your smile and have a seat next to me by the fire. Put on your hat, put on your scarf, put on your gloves, put on your dancing shoes and spend the night with me. It's getting late, but who really cares? What's time anymore? There's nowhere else I'd rather be. So come, warm your hands, warm your heart, join the band and have a seat next to me by the fire. Come, stay a while, have a laugh, show your smile and have a seat next to me by the fire. Come, warm your hands, warm your heart, join the band and have a seat next to me by the fire. Oh, by the fire. Come, stay a while, raise your glass, share your smile and have a seat next to me by the fire. Oh, by the fire, by the fire, oh, by the fire.
I can hardly find the words I need to say. So numb today. There must be a way to watch each other's back when we're under attack. We all walk through the valley alone. We all walk through the valley alone. Ain't no time to wait, no time to sleep and hesitate.
91.3 WVKR, No Time to Wait, Jonah Smith. Jonah Smith will be bringing his music to the Falcon this coming Friday. Terrific live performer. Jonah Smith lives out west and comes out east to record and to play music, and he does it just right. Live at thefalcon.com. Check out Jonah Smith this Friday night. You never need a ticket when you go to the Falcon. It's by reservation only, and they do it by donation. There's a donation box, or you can even put it on your credit card when you're paying your food bill. Great food, great libations at the Falcon. Tomorrow night, Lara Hope and the Arctones will bring their music there. We heard their latest single called By the Fire, and that's Lara Hope and the Arctones at the Falcon tomorrow. And by the way, we're going to be doing a ticket giveaway within the next 10 minutes. And we're going to have a great pair of tickets to give away for a Latino Americano quartet, a chamber quartet that is going to be at the beautiful Maverick Concerts on Sunday, July 2nd at 4 p.m. So don't call in yet, but in about less than 10 minutes, I'm going to give away a pair of tickets for Quarteta Latino Americano. They're a Latin-based chamber orchestra. Classical music, but Latino style, so they've got a little zest to it. So we're going to play some of their music in a little bit, and then we'll be doing a ticket giveaway. So stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss it. Probably about a month ago or so, Sarah Fim sent me her she released this new single, and I just love it, and I played it a few times, and I'm going to play it again now. Let's take a listen to new music by Ms. Sarah Fim here on 91.3.
You said that you loved me, you'd never ever hurt me. How quickly you desert me. You're pushing me away, breaking my heart, and no one wants to feel the way that I do. No one wants to walk through these doors we're walking through. It's killing me today, killing me today. If only I could run away. I can see your halo, but baby I can't let go. You're pushing me away, you're breaking my heart, babe. I can see your halo, breaking my heart, babe. You said you'd come to cuddle me, wake me up with coffee and tell me sweet stories. Then you said you'd look me in the eye, say that we would never die. No one wants to feel the way that I do. No one wants to walk through these doors we're walking through. It's killing me today, killing me today. 'Cause I can see your halo, but baby I can't let go. But you're pushing me away, you're breaking my heart, babe. I can see your halo, but baby I can't let go. But you're pushing me away, I can see your shame. Your veins went cold as ice. It was the longest moment of my life, and it chilled me to the core. The one I loved was gone. I can see your halo, Baby, I can't let go. You're pushing me away, pushing me away. You're breaking my heart, babe. I can see your halo. Baby, I can't let go. You're pushing me away, pushing me away. And I know that I got to. She grew up hiding bruises, thinking it was love. Bourbon on his breath, poison in his blood. A wolf in daddy's clothing. He'd sneak into her room while that small town was sleeping. God, she wished she was too. She got a little older, but so did little sister. One night the ugly truth came out in a whisper, and that whisper was a trigger. Only had to pull it once. They wrapped him in that bedroom rug and threw him in the trunk. That angry sky was thundering as they drove him to the Cumberland, tied some river stone to him and let that body drop. There ain't enough rocks to drown that pain, ain't enough water to sink that shame. He might have broke her heart, couldn't break her soul, but dead ain't dead enough. Sometimes you know ain't enough rocks. Sheriff knocking on the front door, third day not clocking in. Girl said he went on a bender, and they hadn't seen him since. Cops blamed it on his liver, so they never drug the river. And those girls don't even shiver when they're fishing off that dock. There ain't enough rocks to drown that pain, ain't enough water to sink that shame. He might have broke her heart, couldn't break her soul, but dead ain't dead enough. Sometimes you know ain't enough rocks. Some crimes don't deserve a jury, or a penitentiary, or the possibility of parole in a quarter century. Sometimes the only cure for a certain kind of problem is the right amount of limestone to keep it at the bottom.
91.3 WVKR. Brandy Clark, featuring the incredible guitar work of Derek Trucks, the track called Ain't Enough Rocks. And Brandy Clark is going to be headlining this Saturday the annual American Roots Music Festival at Caramore in Katona, New York. Beautiful venue, Caramore, Caramor. And that's in Katona, New York. American Roots Festival this Saturday. It's going to have performances including blues, Americana, folk, and bluegrass. And then the ending is the beautiful ending of the day will be with Brandy Clark, who we just heard in the Venetian room there. So Brandy Clark, Caramore Annual American Roots Festival this Saturday. Tickets and info at caramore.org. We also heard Sarah Fim, her lovely new single called Halo. She is an incredible visual artist and musician and vocalist and all around beautiful person. SarahFim.com. SarahFim is FIMM.com. And, well, let's do this ticket giveaway before the show's over, huh? How's that sound? All right. So I have one pair of tickets to one very lucky listener to give away. If you like chamber music, classical chamber music with a little twist from a Latino Americano group, I have just the show for you to go see. It's happening at the beautiful Maverick Concerts in Woodstock, New York. We'll ask that please be available to go to the show. Don't just call to win tickets, but actually be able to go to the show. The show is happening Sunday, July 2nd at 4 p.m. We've got one pair of tickets, Curatito Latino Americano, July 2nd, Maverick Concerts. They are an incredible, one of the top renowned string quartets, and has been for 40 years. And they were founded in Mexico in 1982, and they've toured extensively throughout Europe, North and South America, Israel, China, Japan, and New Zealand. They have performed over 100 works written specifically for them, and they continue to introduce new and neglected composers to the genre. They are the winners of 2 Latin Grammy Awards for Best Classical Album, and they've also been awarded the prestigious Diez Países d'Or, which has been recognized with the Mexican Music Critics Association Award. And they've also received 3 Most Adventurous Programming Awards from the Chamber Music in America. Cuarteto Latino Americano. They are 3 brothers, and they're violinist, and there's a cello, there's a violist, and I believe also maybe a bassist. But this is a quartet, and it's going to be at the Maverick Concerts in Woodstock, New York. All you have to do is give us a call here at 845-437-7178. I'm going to play a track of their music right now so you kind of get a taste of what you're going to be going to. And again, a pair of tickets up for grabs to one lucky caller here right now at 845-437-7178. The show is at Maverick Concerts in Woodstock, Sunday, July 2nd. Please be able to go. It's a 4 p.m. show on July 2nd. Let's take a listen right here to some music by them on 91.3 WVKR. 91.3 WVKR, brand new music by Maestro Scott Petito. The album is called Many Worlds. The track we just heard, Close to Home. Lyle Mays is the composer, Peter Erskine on drums, Rachel Z. Hakim on keyboards, Mike Maneri on vibes, and Scott Petito on bass. Scott is the owner of the recording studio, NRS Recording Studios, and he puts together some really amazing bands with world-class musicians that live in the area. And he's doing just that next weekend, Saturday, July 1st, Paper Sun. It's going to be the music of the band Traffic. They'll be at the Falcon in Marlborough. And every time he puts together these bands, whether he's playing the Beatles or Steely Dan or, I don't know, Sun Ra, whatever Scott puts together, the shows almost always sell out. So while you don't need to buy a ticket to go to the Falcon, you certainly need to make a reservation for that. Again, the music of the band Traffic by Paper Sun, Saturday, July 1st at the Falcon in Marlborough, live at thefalcon.com. And we had a very happy ticket winner. Congratulations to Sam from Pine Bush, who won a pair of tickets to see Quarteto Latino Americano on July 2nd at Maverick Concerts in Woodstock. MaverickConcerts.org for their amazing lineup of summer season programming. Check them out. We just had Alexander Platt on the show here not long ago, week ago, 2 weeks ago, last week. I'm bad with time. It's nearing the end of the show, so I'm going to do musical happenings now, and then we've got a few more tracks to play for you. Let's start in alphabetical order, and we do this with venues that are in the area in the hopes that you go support live music. Let's start out with the Bardavon and UPAC, bardavon.org. June 24th, Amy Mann. July 19th, Big Thief at UPAC. July 28th, Iron and Wine. Barnstock in Woodstock and barnstockny.com. July 2nd, Joel Harrison Quartet. Bethel Woods and info at bethelwoodscenter.org. June 29, James Taylor. July 1, Robert Plant and Allison Krauss. Caramore in Katona and caramore.org. June 22nd, the Harlem Gospel Travelers. June 23rd, Brooklyn Rider. And this Saturday, June 24th, is the American Roots Music Festival featuring Brandy Clark. City Winery in Hudson Valley in Montgomery. Info at citywinery.com. June 28th, Annalise and Ryan present Songwriters Showcase. July 9th, Damn the Torpedoes. Colony in Woodstock and colonywoodstock.com. Tonight, Of the Atlas and Whoa. Thursday, The Daily Show Writers Comedy Tour. Friday, The Pink Floyd Project. Saturday, A Night of Punk Classics with The Relatives. Sunday is free trivia night, and every Monday is an open mic at Colony. The Falcon in Marlborough and live at thefalcon.com. Tomorrow, Lara Hope and the Arctones. Friday, Jonas Smith Band. Saturday, the Ed Palermo Big Band, and Sunday is Madison McFerrin. The Fisher Center at Bard College and fishercenter.bard.edu. Spiegel Tent is open tomorrow, June 22nd. Britain and the Sting at Spiegel Tent. June 23 through July 2, Illinois. Jazz Forum in Tarrytown and jazzforumarts.org. This Friday and Saturday, the 23rd and 24th, 2 shows each night with Mike Lee Denon's Groover Quartet. Levon Helm Studios in Woodstock and levonhelm.com. June 30, Andara. July 1, Helm Family Midnight Ramble. July 2, Midnight North. July 8, Black Joe Lewis. July 15, Nick Hakim. Maverick Concert Series in Woodstock. Tickets at maverickconcerts.org. This weekend, June 24 and 25, the Ars Choralis presents Brahms Requiem. Opus 40 in Saugerties. Info and tickets at opus40.org. June 24, Going In. June 25, Sesa with Pulsa DeBarro. This weekend, Saratoga Jazz Festival, June 24 and 25, with numerous performers, including Snarky Puppy, Bonnie Raitt, Angelique Kidjo, and so many more. Info at spac.org. Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center at Sugarloaf, pacny.com. June 24, Comedy Festival. July 8, Colin Quinn. The Stissing Center in Pine Plains, also at thestissingcenter.org. June 23, Caro Perauto. June 25, Musical Synergy. Tarrytown Music Hall in Tarrytown, also at tarrytownmusichall.org. Tonight, Amy Mann. June 23, Eagle Mania. June 24, Colin Quinn. Town Crier in Beacon and towncrier.com. Every Thursday is an open mic. Friday on the Salon Stage, Dan Brother. Friday on the main stage, comedy with Joe Matarese, Tom Ryan, and Sean Eli. Saturday on the Salon Stage, Mick Lynch and Jenna Nichols. On the main stage, Sharky and the Sparks. Sunday brunch with the Lake Trio, and Sunday evening on the Salon Stage with Cosmo Kazi. Walk-Hill River Center for the Arts Music Series. Info and tickets at walkhillriverschool.com. June 23, cellist Alex Prizginatas. July 28, Billy Ware Quartet. Jazz in the Valley at Warriors Park in Poughkeepsie on August 20th, featuring Louis Hayes Quintet, Javon Jackson Band, and so much more. Info and tickets at jazzinthevalley.org. And that's what we've got. We got 4 pages now because it's summertime and there's a lot of music happening out there. So we've got a few more minutes. Let me play this title track from the EP by Carolyn Morosi. This one's called Loners, Misfits, and Rebels here on 91.3 WVKR.
This is for the loners, the misfits, and the rebels. The ones who had to start again and put their lives back together. This is for the heartache and the big mistakes you made. This is for the turnaround from all the games you played. This is for the loners, the misfits, and the rebels, walking through the storms, beat down and weathered. This is for the suffering and all the tears you cried. The time has come to shed your skin, leave the pain behind. Time might heal the pain, but time can't stop the rain. This is for the loners, the misfits, and the rebels. Walking to a different drum. You've got wings, don't need feathers. This is for the leap of faith in a world unknown. Time has come to spread your wings. The best is yet to come. Time might heal the pain, but time flies away. This is for the loners who go to sleep at night, in your heart believing everything will be alright. This is for the misfits, invisible as a ghost. I can see you, and I believe in you the most. This is for the rebels, the truth is always worth the fight. Wade through the darkness until you find the light.
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Carolyn Morosi, her latest EP, Loners, Misfits, and Rebels. And we heard the title track to that album. You can visit her website at carolynmorosi.com. Also check her out at on social media, I should say. And that about does it for me. I'm going to play one more track, but I'm not coming back on air because Dr. J is in the house and he's going to take over these fine airwaves with Irie Groove. So please stay tuned for him. I will not be here next week. I will return in 2 weeks with drummer extraordinaire Anton Fig. He spent about 3 decades on the David Letterman show as the house drummer there, and he will be in our area at the Falcon. I've got so much to talk about with Anton. I'm thrilled to have him back on the show. In 3 weeks, we will have singer-songwriter James Maddock. He just released a new album. We'll be playing tracks from that. In 4 weeks, Billy Martin of Medeski, Martin and Wood joins me. At the end of July, we have the new executive director from Arts Mid Hudson, Melissa Devozenja Thomas, and I know I butchered that name, but she'll tell us when she's here exactly how to pronounce that. Thank you to today's guest, Matt Garrity from Barnstock. If you missed part or all of that conversation, I recorded it and it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. Please subscribe and give a like to both. LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR. And right now we're going to go out with a track by Carolyn Wonderland off her album Tempting Fate. And the track will be called Texas Girl and Her Boots. And she's going to be one of the many great performers this weekend at Saratoga Jazz Festival at SPAC, SPAC.org. Check out the lineup. Do yourself a favor, get a ticket, and spend the weekend in Saratoga. Hope to see some of you there, and I'll be back in 2 weeks. Until next time, I wish you peace.
Well, I'm a Texas girl. I got boots for the dirt. I got boots to play dress up, throw away ones that hurt. I got boots for the rain and boots for the mud, boots that go dancing and boots that go thud. But the boots that leave me wanting more, they're my baby's boots tonight when they hit the floor. Texas girls, I swear. Well, we've always got more than one pair. And this Texas girl fears no snake in the grass. I got some big bad boots, baby, that'll glide across the land.